Welcome back to the Red Stool, and today we're talking about My Hero Academia, Chapter 353, Endeavor. Now, with the start of this chapter, we get the confirmation from Burnin that Todoroki has defeated Dabi, and the first battle on this battlefield is almost wrapped up. They're about one Nomu away from securing the battlefield. And as they're reporting this to All Might, and he's in the Kamino War just watching over all these battles, it's like he has this bittersweet look on his face. And I feel like I understand where it's coming from, because he wants to be out there. Of course, he wants to be out there in this field, and this is when he feels like the world probably needs him the most, but this is where he's at. He has to coordinate the battle now, and he makes the most of it by announcing this victory over the villains to every other battlefield and every other major hero. And it's a pretty smart move, because the effect that it has on all these different battlefields, it's major, because this isn't just a bunch of heroes fighting villains. They're out here fighting for the future of Hero Society. How will it be reshaped? Whose ideals will reign supreme over whom's? So these battles carry a lot of individual weight and significance to them. It's more than just heroes versus villains. And we get that in the reactions from the heroes on the battlefield. I love how everybody just has this genuine reaction. Even Bakugo from Class 1A, where it's just, they're all happy that Todoroki beat Dabi. Because, of course, he didn't really, there were moments in his head where he was like, Dabi's firepower surpasses his. He doesn't know if his ice will be enough to stop him. And I like how it's like Todoroki's finally come into all his own. And with him announcing that UA was his safe space and where he felt like home, just all the love he's receiving and all the encouragement he's giving his classmates to wrap up their battles, to defeat their villains. And as the pro heroes are shouting this out across the battlefield, of course, the opposite side of that is you get the reactions from the villains as well. But what really surprised me is on the battlefield with Pinky, Red Riot, and a few other kids from UA, their villain that they're going up against, he doesn't seem all too fazed. In fact, he even brings up the death of Midnight and how it seems as though he was there on that battlefield because those same kids were there too, witnessing her passing. And it's really subtle, but I like how Horikoshi has just gone out of his way to make this battle very personal. It's more than just the kids from Class 1A and 1B against some random villain. Now it has a little bit of personal depth to it. There's weight involved in the fact that he's just invoked the death of Midnight and implied that they will follow in her footsteps. So I'm really looking forward to seeing on this battlefield them all just come together with their teamwork and special moves. That's how I feel like this battle is going to go in particular, just because these kids have such a history with each other, and they even were the classes that went against each other in Class 1A versus 1B. Their groups went against each other in that training arc. So I'm pretty sure they'll put this nameless villain in his place. But what surprised me was, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you know that I absolutely hate Spinner. But for once, when I actually saw him in the chapter, he actually looks like a threat instead of some random wannabe Stain lizard man, because he's absolutely huge and he's doing a good job of rallying his troops to face the heroes to try and save Kurogiri's body. Now, it seems like All For One has given him some sort of stature boost, maybe, because he's huge and he's even frothing at the mouth. He looks monstrous, but of course he's still him on the inside. And internally, he's not taking Dabi's loss well, because he looks up to Dabi. Dabi has this great quirk. He has a great reason for being a villain and hating Hero Society. It mirrors his admiration for Shigaraki, actually. And for him to have to be faced with the fact that one of the people that he's looked up to has lost, mentally it looked like it's taking a toll on him, but he's not letting it show. He's rallying his troops. He's preparing for a second charge. And with this gigantification quirk that he was maybe given, it looks like he might actually be a threat for once. So leave it to Horikoshi to actually make one of my most hated characters actually relevant. And speaking of which, he kind of doesn't stop there, because Aoyama, of course, another person that I have very low regard for. If it were up to me, he would be twinkling in Tartarus serving 99 life convictions. And they're not going to run concurrently. After he's done with one, he's got 98 more to go. But it seems like All For One isn't quite done with Aoyama yet, because his final assassin that he had contracted to attack Deku is actually set his sights on the traitor, because, of course, no one is going to defy the Demon Lord's wishes and live to tell about it. Now, what I don't like is Fat Gum is also wrapped up into this. And as much as I am rooting for this assassin right now, I don't want to see Fat Gum lose his life trying to save Aoyama, which could very well happen. And if I'm being honest with all the subtle hinting that this villain he's doing on his quirk, saying that they should fear what they can't see, and whatever his quirk is, it's a layer that's spread across the entire planet. And for Aoyama having his nasal labor power plus Fat Gum having his fat absorption, I don't think they're going to be a good combination to stop this guy. Maybe they'll get some support from one of the other heroes that are out there with them. But so far, I'm going to have to say this fight, I'm going to do my best to pronounce his name, Kunita. He's probably going to give them a lot of problems, and there may be a sacrifice that's needed in order to stop him. Also, I like how visually he resembles that first Nomu that Endeavor fought with the hood and the long swinging hair. I don't know. Let me know if I'm the only person who really saw that comparison, because visually he reminds me a lot of that Nomu, especially how he's kind of long and lanky a little bit too. Plus, we don't know whatever quirk that All For One has given him, especially since he's his final assassin, meaning he has more than one quirk. And speaking of All For One, I just love how through everything, he's always cool, calm, collected, and composed. Whether he's winning, losing, he always has that composure, and it's almost as if he's always in control. Because even as the news that one of his top fighters, best generals, has fallen in this war, he's not even fazed. He even goes as far as to taunt Endeavor and, of course, throw the fact that this is all his fault and he's a bad parent back in his face for like the fourth time in the chapters. It's hilarious. And even Hawks, I like how Hawks is like, hey, Endeavor, ignore him, because he knows that this very well may be the way to break Endeavor and get to him. He even does the best, and when he refers to him as the #1 hero, knowing that it's a title that Endeavor hates. I just love all the subtle jabs he throws out there. And it also leads me to believe, is this battle really over? Now, we all saw the faint glint inside of Dabi's chest. And I feel like that's going to be bad news for whatever is to come. Of course, we know that All For One, he gave Spinner a little bit of extra power, and it looked as if Dabi told him no way, no thank you, he doesn't need anything from him. But we know how sneaky he is, and he might have just wormed his way in, giving him an extra quirk anyway. Now, of course, we're going to have to wait to find all of this out in the upcoming chapter, but please, if you like the video, drop a comment below, let me know. Thanks to everybody who's been watching, clicking, helping me grow my community. I really do enjoy making this content for you guys. And always, if you want more, Twitter, TikTok, Tumblr, that boy, best boy. I'm very active. I love to see you guys there as well. But as always, I'm going to see y'all later, all right? Peace.